application. But just for your information, this webinar will be recorded because it will be also available on our website. And so you can share it with your friends and colleagues, and it can be used also later on. So now it's starting to be recorded. And before we start to dive deeper in the topic, I just want to ask you a very, very, very quick question. Okay, I will share with you the agenda of today. We will tackle the topic of the project idea, then the objectives. I will show you some practical tips and tools for writing an application, and then we will have time for the Q&A session. And just to start, I don't want to just be doing the whole blah blah the whole time. So it will be a little bit of interactive webinar. So for the starting, I would like to ask you to tell us just in the chat from where are you joining us today, because it's a very nice webinar in the way that it's international. So if you can just quickly share in the chat, so we also test that the chat is working. From where are you joining this webinar? Let's have like 1 minute. Portugal, perfect. I'm joining from the Czech Republic, Spain. Some other places. Turkey, nice. Again, Turkey. Good, perfect. So we tested that the chat is working, because today we will be working with the chat some other times as well. And just to start, we all are here now to learn how to write a good project, how to write a project. But what is the most important is first to ask the question, what makes a good project idea? So I will be asking again, what do you think that makes the good idea of the project? Or you can write in the chat, or you can raise your hand and answer directly, just so we know that we are connected here together, so it's not just one-sided presentation. I still cannot see nothing in the chat. Don't be shy. Okay, maybe I will change the question. Some of you already have some ideas for project, or I assume that if you are joining today for this webinar, somehow you're already motivated to do the projects, to make them, to write them, or to be on some level active in this field. So maybe already some of you have some ideas for the project. I can see the first answer, the program priorities. Yes, they are very important. Inclusive and diversity topics. Yes, but if we come back to what makes a good project idea, okay, climate change, perfect. So these are already the topics. But if we come back to the idea, how to write the project, then it's very important. Digitalization, yes, another very important topic. Perfect. So let's move on. I just wanted to make you think about the project idea, because when you are working on the project itself, it needs to be very well thought, because also during the application writing, it's very important to have the main idea, very clear, because there are a lot of questions and they are asking from different angles to see if you really know how to do the project and why to do the project. And that's why what makes a really good project idea is to know and to ask yourself the question, who exactly am I helping with this project? What is their situation and why does it matter? And when you have all those three questions answered and you are very sure with these, that's how you know and you can make sure that your project have or has the very strong begins. So I want to ask again if you already, because I see that we have many more people here. So just the question: does any one of you already have some project idea for yourself? You can write it in the chat, or you can raise your hand and answer directly. Let's wait 1 minute. Okay, Turgut, we see media literacy. Is this your idea for the project? Can you maybe unmute yourself and share with us? Okay, Turgut is not available to speak, but never mind. Okay, anyone else has some ideas already for their projects? And take this as an opportunity, because we can also use this as a case study to understand it better, and it can be your idea that will be discussed here. If not, of course, I have some examples, but I think that it would be really nice to use some of yours. Okay, let's wait a little bit more if anyone else already has some project ideas. Okay, we have another one, sustainability. Zero waste schools and workplaces. Perfect. Okay, so let's have Ella, if you agree, let's have your project idea of the zero waste in schools or workplaces as a case study, as a topic for the project idea. So if we go one by one, who exactly would you be helping with this project idea? Also, others can be answering. It's very important to think about who would we be helping in this topic. What is the situation of those people and why does it matter? Okay. Young learners and youth workers. Perfect. Who? So basically, with the question, who am I exactly helping? Students, teachers, and also the government. Perfect. This is a perfect example of the target group. Because in every project, not only a key action one in Erasmus Plus, but basically in every project where you are writing the project, it doesn't have to be educational, but it can be also in your in the work, in business, and etc etc. It's very important to think about who, which is the target group. So exactly here we are here in the field of youth workers, so exactly young learners, youth workers, students, teachers, and also the government. For instance, if I would be doing the project in my neighborhood, it can be my neighbors, so it's also like the different target group. So yes, this is exactly who am I helping with the project, which is the target group. It's very important to have the target group very, very specific, because in every project, and especially in the Erasmus Plus Key Action 1 projects, they are asking the question to describe clearly your target group, what is the background of this target group, and how you want to how you understand them. So this is a very important question. Perfect. If we move on to what is their situation, so if we still keep with the situation of the zero waste in schools or workplaces. So what can be the situation of those people that I'm helping? And let's also have some more people interactive in the chat. Okay. So what is the situation of our target group? What can be the situation? It can be also like, what is the problem? Okay, to reduce the carbon footprint is more like how I will deal with the situation, but now we are dealing with the situation. So we already know who we want to help. We already know the idea of the project, which is or the topic, which is the zero waste in school or workplaces. But now we are imagining what is the situation of those people that we are helping. What can be their situation? I can help you a little bit. Students or workers produce too much waste at schools or workplaces for lack of organization or services. The place they study or work, yes. Or for instance, education is very important, and zero waste could help with preserving energy. Perfect. So the situation is that, or they have not a lot of information about zero waste. They are producing a lot of zero waste, so they are making a bad impact on their environment, and they don't have any tools or organization or services that would do the work. So the situation is this is also very important to think about what is their situation, because it will help you to imagine in the project what you would like to do. And then with the question, why does it matter, you are building onto it. So basically, you also described it here that it's to reduce the carbon footprint, because it's important to reduce it, because we are producing a lot of it in our society. So perfect. With this, I wanted to show you why it's important to think about those questions whenever you want to start the project. You have to have the solid base with this before going further with the application writing. I will move on to next slide, and I just want to share with you a very quick tool that I'm also using in my project writing, which is the problem tree, where you go from the cause to the problem itself and to its effects. So basically, the problem tree here you can see, and I hope you can see my screen. Yes, it's a very, very quick tool that I'm using. Is when I'm thinking about some idea of the project, I'm thinking about the problem or about the issue itself. Here you can see the causes that are the roots that are below. The roots are below the causes, if you can see. And basically, this is the reasons why the problem exists, because it's going from uh, from below the surface. Then in the center, actually, you have the issue or the main problem that is already visible. and then the branches that are like with the leaves and etc. are the effects or the impact. So basically, what happened if the problem continues? So if we imagine that we have a really bad cause, then we have the problem itself, and then it's making the impact. It can be, for instance, that we have a bad cause, we have the issue, and as a bad impact can be, for instance, bad apples, if I make it very, very similar to the tree. But if we go back to the problem, that we had with our case, with the zero waste in school or workplaces, how would you describe the causes? And let's have some, you can also use your microphone and a talk, so I'm not alone here, but also if you feel more comfortable, you can use the chat. So how would you describe the causes with the case with the zero waste? Basically, those are the reasons that why the problem exists. We touched it a little bit already, but let's also have it in a real exercise so it might be more clear for us. Lack of awareness about the problem or lack of knowledge about the strategies to reduce waste. Mm-hmm. Is it the cause or the problem itself? For me, this is very connected, the causes and the issue. So the cause might be lack of awareness about the problem or lack of knowledge. Then the issue is, how would you describe the issue? Schools produce a large amount of daily waste. Yes. So this is the issue. And if we move on to the impact, so we already have the cause, that we have lack of awareness. Then we have issue, that we are producing a large amount of daily waste. Most of this waste goes to landfills. Yes, this is also a big issue. And the impact of it, exactly, that the environment is polluted. Perfect. With this, I wanted to show you that this is exactly copying how the applications in Erasmus Plus and also in others are asking you on the topic and on the problem of the project that you would like to have. Sometimes it might feel that they're asking about the same questions, because yes, they are, but they are actually asking from a different point of view. So they are somehow guiding you to think about the idea, the project, or the problem itself, but make it very solid. So that's why it's very important to think about the causes, the issue, and the impact. And whenever you are writing the project, it's good to start by describing the impact, which is the most visible. And as it is the most visible, it's also the easiest to understand to others. But of course, in the whole project, you need to have the really solid knowledge of all those three parts, because it's very connected all together. Okay, do you have any questions so far regarding this, like how to think about the idea of the project and how to have the solid idea and the solid objective, and how to have the problem and the issue and the impact defined? Okay. Okay, I don't see any questions or any raised hands, so let's move on. And now, let's make it very practical. Think of your project idea and also think about what is the root cause. We already had the idea from Ella. So with this, I'm inviting also others to think about the project idea, what are the root cause, and just write it in the chat. Let's have 2 minutes, 3 minutes to think. And I can help you a little bit with this. Let's make it very practical. And let's take the idea that you already have, something that you would like to develop into the project, and think about the root cause of this problem. I can give you also a very short example here. For instance, if young people are not participating in the local activities, think about, is it lack of opportunities or maybe lack of motivation or confidence? So write one cause in the chat and let's see some examples so we can also help each other in this process. Imagine that you already have one idea and let's think of the root causes that it has. And I will give you 2 minutes, 3 minutes to share in the chat. Overconsumption and disposable culture. Do we have any more ideas? And from it to think about the root causes of the problem. Poor waste management systems. Limited access to sustainable alternatives. Teaching life skills to youth. Teaching life skills to youth, is it the root cause of the problem? If you think about it, Ella. We corporate responsibility. Perfect. If I go back to the teaching life skills to youth, with this, I don't see it as the cause or the root cause of the problem. It's more like tool or the activity how to tackle it. But we have new culture and behavior barriers. Mm-hmm. Okay. As a project example. Okay. Okay, Ella. So if you think about the teaching life skills to youth as a project idea, what would be the cause, the root cause of the problem? If you go one step back, because teaching life skills to youth is already the activity which is perfect, but to have the problem or the main idea backed up with the data and with the ideas. We have another one from Turgut, lack of environmental awareness and poor recycling infrastructure. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Good. I will move on to the anatomy of a project because I really wanted you first to think about the idea and the problem itself, because from it, then you will be able to work more on the project. Here, it's a very very basic structure of the project. Like the application is much more bigger, but we have only 1.5 hour together, so I wanted to make it as much clear as possible. So basically the anatomy of the project is consisting of the objectives, that is actually what you want to achieve by the project. Then the activities itself, it's what you will do to reach that objective or what you want to do. Impact, how it will change the situation that it's now, and what do you expect from that. And then of course the dissemination, how you would like to share the results, because it's important that you do, but one of the also very important thing is that you share how to do it, so you can also inspire others, and yeah, inspire and motivate and activate others as well. For this structure, why I would just want to connect it with the tree, with the problem tree, and why we were stopping with the causes of the problem, and what is the issue and what is the impact. So that actually helps you to describe these things. So basically, when we stop with the objectives, which means what are the objectives? Objectives are what you want to achieve. So basically, if you remember, if you I come back to the tree, and we see the impact, this is the impact of the problem. And if I connect it to the objective, what do you think? How do you think that it's connected? Because here we see that the impact is what happens if the problem continues. And if I go here, objectives are what you want to achieve. So how do you think that they are connected? I will give you 1 or 2 minutes again. Okay. So basically, why I was stopping with the problem tree and with the impact. Basically, impact was what happens if the problem continues. So basically, that's the problem. What is happening? So what we had as an example is that we have too much waste in the landfills, too much waste in our workplace, etc., etc. And with the objectives, we are actually aiming and we want to achieve to tackle this problem, to solve this problem. So that's why you first need to understand what is the problem and what is the impact. And then with your project, you describe your objective is how and what, basically what you want to achieve by the project. So what we want to achieve by the project is to, for instance, reduce the waste, or we want to educate people around ourselves. We want to change the systems. So basically, it's what you want to achieve and with what you are dealing with the problems. Then we have activities. It's what you are actually doing to reach your objective. So can you again quickly just share here what can be the activities? If we think about the project of the zero waste in our school or workplaces, because with the objectives we can already repeat again that we want to reduce the waste. What can be the activities in this scenario? Let's have 1 minute for writing and sharing. Imagine that you already have the problem defined, which is a lot of waste. Then your objective is to reduce the waste. And now let's think about the activity. What do you want to do to reach the objective, meaning to reduce the waste? So introducing schools to recycling and composting. Perfect. And reuse and to reduce trash, sorry. So your activity can be introducing those systems. Any other ideas for the activities? It can be also educational workshops. Clubs about the matter could be created in schools. So you meaning like clubs to share the knowledge and the experience, Ella? Perfect, exactly. So it can be, the activities can be educational, that you raise awareness, that you start talking about the topic, you give tips and tricks, and with that, you will reach the objective. Perfect. Thank you very much. Then, if we move to the impact itself, so basically this means what change do you expect from those activities? So very easily, what change can you expect in our problem? If we already have the objective, which means what we want to achieve, that is reducing the waste. We know how, through which activities, which can be introducing schools with some recycling and composting and education. So what is the impact? What is the change that we expect? So basically, the impact can be, okay, we are reducing waste in our school for, yeah, we are reducing the waste in our school. Yeah, lower pollution, increased environmental awareness. Perfect. That's exactly the impact. Thank you very much, Ella. Cost savings also very important. Thank you. Good. And then another part of the project is dissemination, especially in the Erasmus Plus projects and those where you're asking from the European money or the money from the government. The dissemination is very important, not only to share about the project, but also to share yeah, to share it because you received the grant, which is also very important to think about that. And it's also important to share it because of the importance of the topic, because usually, especially in the Erasmus Plus projects, you are working with the topics that it's not only limited to your organization or your group or yourself, but usually the problem is there throughout the whole society. So dissemination is very important, and you have to think about how you will share the results when the project is successful, or even if it's not very successful, it's also good to share the results so others can learn from that. So under this dissemination and how you will share the results, what are the ideas that yeah, that you have for sharing the result? So imagine that we already know uh, why we want to do it, what we want to achieve. We know the activities, we know the impact. So how do we share the results with the world or with others? Maybe think about also, how did you learn about this project, about this webinar, or how you are receiving information usually in your life? Where do you get the informations about different projects or information around? Mostly social media. Exactly. So basically, dissemination is how you share the results. Now, 90% is through social media. And what is very important at this point to think about and really to describe how you will deliver this information to those who need it the most and who should know about your project. This is a very important part of the project because um, yeah, because it's very important to share and to get as much attention to the topic as possible. Perfect. This is basically the anatomy of the project and the very basic structure for it. Of course, that in the application form there are many more questions, but basically how the application is divided is in these areas. Then there is also budget, which is a very big topic. But for the Erasmus Plus, it's calculated itself, and also for others, it's so big of a topic that I wanted to more focus on the structure. But because every project, and from my own experience, the biggest problem is usually the objectives and actually what you want to achieve, and this is also the biggest question for those who are giving the money for the donors. I want to stop with the topic of the objectives. We know that objectives are what you want to achieve by the project. So let's have some examples here about the objectives, so we can work on that, because I will also introduce to you one very, very nice tool that might be helpful for you in the future. So objective is, or objectives are, what you want to achieve by the project. Stronger community bonds, cleaner school environment, resource efficiency. Thank you very much. Uh, how I was struggling quite a lot with the objectives, and then I was thinking about like kind of the three red flags, how to spot objective that is not very, very strong. I was struggling quite a lot that my objectives were too vague, too broad, and they didn't have the measurable impact. For me, when I was thinking, okay, I have the idea of a project and I would like to do this, this, and this, and my objective is to make my neighborhood greener, for instance. This can be also the objective. But when I was then developing the project more and more, I was struggling a lot that it was exactly too vague, too broad, and missing measurable impact, because then I was thinking about exactly how we had the anatomy of the project, the activities, the impact, and dissemination, and I started to circling. So that's why I started to using very, very, very simple tool, which is called SMART. And I believe that if you don't know it now, now you will know, and will use it definitely in the future. And this is a tool that is helping quite a lot, especially in the project management. And it stands for S, is specific. So your goal or your objective should be specific. It should be clear, and it should be very, very clear, specific. Then you have M as a measurable. So you have to make sure that you can measure this objective. Then you have achievable. So you have to make sure that you actually can achieve the goal. So you cannot think about, okay, so my goal or objective is to reduce or have the zero waste in all of the schools in the world, because then we know that it's quite impossible, or it would be great if it would be possible, but it's not achievable by the resources that we are having. Then R for relevant. So to think about, is the goal or objective aligned with our, okay, here we have business, but basically with our organization or with our team, is it relevant for us to do it? So if I have it from my perspective, when I wanted to do our neighborhood greener and better to live and to, yeah, basically greener, then I was thinking, is it relevant? For me, it was relevant. But imagine that someone else is doing it, I don't know, different organization or different people from different city, then this question would be, is it relevant for them to do it in my neighborhood? Maybe yes, maybe no, but it's also very important to think about it. And then T for time bound, which basically is saying to make sure that your goal has deadline and that you actually can set the timeline. So it's easy for you to measure. And actually all of this together is very well super connected. And so it is helping you not only to have your goal and your objective uh, very strong, but it's also helping you to write the application on many different levels. Okay, so let's move on. Do you have any questions so far? You are a very quiet group, so and I also cannot see you with your camera, so please let's be active in the chat. Okay, if you don't have any questions, I would like to still be with the objectives. And here I have a very easy one to share with you what is the weak and what is the strong objective. So make people happy is not very specific. It's not very measurable. How do we measure if people are happy? Is it achievable? Yes, maybe yes. Relevant? Is it relevant for my organization? Is it time bound? Can we somehow measure it with the time? No. So for me, this is a very, very weak objective. Then, on contrary, here I'm sharing increase digital skills of 20 youth workers through two trainings by 2026. It's very clear and very specific because we know what we want to increase. It's measurable because we are stating here that it's for 20 youth workers by two trainings and by 2026. Achievable, yes, it is. Relevant, it would be if it's, for instance, Genesis that we are doing this. And it's also time bound because there you have the deadline that it's by 2026. I will share with you another one. Empower young people. Again, it is very broad. It's not very specific, but then we have support 30 young people to develop public speaking skills through 3 workshops by June 2026. Perfect. Now, I would like to ask you to be a little bit active in the chat again. And if you remember or if you see in the chat our objectives, if you can share at least 2 3 of the goals and objectives that are using the SMART method. I will leave the slide here, so I would like to ask you, let's have 4 minutes to think and to share about the objectives that are SMART and that are following this structure. So let's have this exercise so you can take the most out of it. Let's share some goal by using the SMART method. You can or share it by raising your hands and speaking, or you can share it in the chat. We have first one, 10 schools have saved 50% more resources with zero waste school project. Would this count? Okay, so let's see it one by one. It's specific. Yes. Measurable. Yes. 10 schools save 50% more resources with zero waste school project. Achievable. Let's say that yes. Relevant. Yes. And time bound. Is it time bound? Did you make sure that the goal or the objective has the deadline? In a year, perfect. So if you would have it that 10 schools have saved 50% more resources with zero waste school project in a year, in 1 year, that would be a smart goal. Yes, perfect, perfect, Ella. Okay, anyone else would like to share the smart goal or objective? Let's have 2 more minutes to share, to think about it, and to share. The objective that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound with a deadline. Okay, let's have the last minutes to share. I can give you some examples again where we had it. It could be, for instance, increase digital skills of 20 youth workers through 2 trainings by 2026. It is specific, measurable. We have 20 youth workers to do trainings, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That is by 2026. Okay, if we don't have any other questions or any other sharings for the smart objectives, I have a question for you. If you think about your project idea and your project, and we already have the strong objective and the problem, what we want to do, what do you think that is important in the project? Especially this one, it is this webinar is focused a little bit also for the Erasmus Plus key action 1. So what is also very important in the project? If you think about your idea, what you want to do, what do you think that is another part of the project that is important for you? Imagine that you already have your objectives, you're planning the activities, you know what impact it would have, you know how you want to share the results. But what did we didn't talk about yet in the process? I was aiming more for strong partners. Here I'm having this one. Don't look for logos, look for commitment, because good partners are co-creating, not just signing. And especially in the international projects, but also wherever you are having the partners in your project, it's very important. It's also important to have the partners, because most of the times when I was helping young people to think about their project and mentoring them to implement their project, they wanted to do it alone, or they thought that they can do it alone, or they have to do it alone. But for me, a good project is very needing strong partners. So basically, in every project, I very recommend to think about the strong partners that to have. And what I wanted to share with you here through this is that you need to have really reliable partners with whom you want to work, who you trust, and how they will be helping your project, how they will be helping your activities. So basically, someone, yeah, that would be your partner, your buddy in the whole project. I also want to share with you very quickly the timeline, or at least like how to think about the timeline of the project. I didn't want to say exact numbers of days or months, or how much do you need to have it, because for everyone it's different. From every team it's different. If you have different partners, the timing is different. But what is very important to think about are the points to actually think about when you have the idea until you will submit your project. So basically, when you have the idea, when you go through all of the steps that we just shared, where you will have it very strong, then you're writing your first draft. It means that you are writing it, you have the first idea, you have to write it down on the paper to invite your partners. It doesn't have to be always like this, that you have the partners, but most of the time you are or inviting the partners, or you're inviting someone from your team to do it, because never, or not never, but most of the time you're not doing it alone. Then the partners are giving the input to the project writing and to the application. Then there is a process of reviewing. You have to read it through. You have to see what fits. You are adding. You are doing the research. You're analyzing. Then you also need the time for correction, because after reviewing and giving feedback, you need to also correct it and work it in the application. And then there is submission. So basically, not to forget, many times I also witnessed that someone had the idea and they wrote everything in like 2 weeks, and then they had the partners and everything, but they didn't have time for reviewing and for the correction. And it's a shame, because when you are doing a lot of work on it and then you don't do the feedback session or the reviewing and correction, and you submit it immediately, sometimes you might miss something. So what I'm saying is, when you're writing it, always have the spare time to review and to correct it, because if you have the time from it, the ideas are also more clear, and you might see some things that you didn't think of during the process. Good. With this, I would like to slowly wrap it up and leave the space to you if you have some questions or something that you would like to ask. And what I really want you to take from this is to start your project from your real need. Be specific and measurable, which we already have one tool to use. Build partnerships early and build strong partnerships, and have a good time management with the application writing. Before I will move to the Q&A session, I would like to share with you that I also prepared some templates for you to help you to think about your project idea. I have some leading questions that you can use. I will also share with you after this on your email the template for the KA1 project writing. I also have some tips and tricks for the project writing. Definitely, you will also have this presentation, but I also, throughout the years, I have a lot of materials to support this. To support this. But with this webinar, I just really wanted to focus on the most important things, and the most important, like the most often problems while writing the project, that people are not having a very strong objective, and somehow it's not very clear. But with this webinar, I wanted to walk you through that. But of course, with more and more tips and tricks, I will share it with you in the materials that you can go over. So now the floor will be yours with the questions, if you have some, and it can be any question. If we go from the beginning, maybe something was not clear, or you had some ideas that you would like to discuss, or something that you want to share maybe with others, or to maybe stop in some topic again that was not clear. So now it's the time for questions. Again, you can use the chat, or you can also raise the hand and ask directly. No questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, with this, I would like to thank you for you being here on the webinar, that you are interested in the project writing. I hope that you took at least some tools that might be helpful for you in the project writing. As I said already, I will share with you the materials with the tips and tricks, and also the template how to support you in the process of the project writing. I will be staying here on this call in case someone would have some questions. But if not, thank you all very much for being here, and I hope to see you maybe on your project that you will write, or on some of our projects with our organizations. And yeah, this is it from my side. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you somewhere in the world. And as I said, I will stay here another 10-15 minutes in case you would have some questions or something that you would like to discuss. Perfect.